You know, sometimes I think the saddest thing in life is not failure. The saddest thing is when someone slowly stops believing in themselves. Maybe because people laughed at their dreams, maybe because someone told them they are not good enough, or maybe because life became a little too heavy. And after hearing those things again and again, something inside them becomes quiet. That voice that once believed in possibilities just disappear. So welcome back to Whisper of M. Today, I don't want to give you motivation seriously. I just want to talk with you about something real. Believing in yourself. And we'll cover this topic with several points to really get what the real mean of believing in yourself, even when the world makes it difficult. So let's start. First one, what is the power of believing in yourself? You know what's interesting? When someone truly believes in themselves, you can feel it. That is some kind of power. Not because they are loud or arrogant, but because they move differently through life. They don't break easily. Things still hurt them, of course. They still face rejection. They still have bad days like everyone else. But there is something inside them that keeps saying, okay, this did not work. Let's try again. I'll manage. I can do it. I know myself. And I think that's quite wise is one of the most powerful things a human being can have. Because once you start believing in yourself, other people's opinion don't shake you the same way anymore. You stop trying to prove yourself to everyone. You stop shrinking yourself just to make others comfortable. And slowly, you begins living your life instead of living everyone else's expectations. Number 2, the mindset we took from parents is not always our real self. And that's so true. A lot of the beliefs we carry about ourselves did not even start with us, seriously. They started long before we were old enough to question them. Maybe you grew up in a home where people were constantly worried about survival, about money, about stability, about playing safe. Maybe dreams were seen as unrealistic. Maybe someone told you things like, people like us, don't do that, or don't aim too high. And when you hear things like that while growing up, they slowly becomes part of your thinking. Not because they are true, but because they are familiar. But here's something important to remember. Your parents gave you life. They gave you their experiences, their fears, their hopes. But they did not define the limits of who you can become. Their story is their story. And yours is still being written. And you are allowed to write it differently. Try to see your real potential. Sometimes I wish people would just pause for a moment and look at themselves honestly. Not through the eyes of critics or strangers, but through their own eyes. Because deep down, most people already know they are capable of more. There always that little thought in the back of the mind, that quiet curiosity that says, what if I tried? But fear often speaks louder. Fear of failing, fear of embarrassment, fear of being judged. And you know, I once heard someone says that most people die with their potential still inside them. Not because they could not do great things, but because they never gave themselves permission to try. And maybe today is the day you start asking yourself a different question. Not what if I fail, but what if I actually succeed? People don't always want you to believe in yourself. That's a very harsh truth, but it is. This part is a little uncomfortable, but it's honest. Sometimes the people around us don't actually want us to become too confident, too independent, too sure of ourselves. Not always out of cruelty, but sometimes out of insecurity. Think about it. When someone around you suddenly starts believing in their dreams, working hard, changing their mindset, it can make others uncomfortable, right? Because it forces them to look at their own choices. So they might say things like, "Why are you taking life so seriously? Or you have changed." But growth always looks strange to people who are standing still. And you cannot let someone else's comfort decide the size of your life. Okay, this is very important. Become deaf if you can't change your environment. Not everyone has the privilege of immediately leaving a negative environment. Some people live with constant criticism, constant negativity, constant pressure. And if that's your situation right now, the best thing you can do sometimes is learn how to mentally step back from those voices. Imagine those words like noise passing by a window. You hear them, but they don't stay inside your mind. Because not every voice deserves influence or your identity. Some words belong to the person who said them, not to you. Believe me, you deserve more. Believe it. A lot of people secretly believe they don't deserve much from life. They settle for things that don't make them happy. They accept situations that slowly drain them. And sometimes that belief comes from years of being told they are not enough. But imagine, what could change if you started believing something different? If you started believing that your life could actually grow into something meaningful, peaceful, fulfilling. Believing you deserve more doesn't make you selfish. It makes you aware of your own value. You have a purpose. Yeah. Now I know the word purpose can feel overwhelming sometimes. People imagine it as one big dramatic destiny waiting to be discovered. But purpose is usually much simpler than that. It's often found in the things that make you feel alive, the things that make you curious, excited, or deeply interested. Your purpose doesn't arrive like lightning, it reveals itself slowly while you explore your life, while you try new things, while you allow yourself to grow. Ignore people's opinion if you really want to grow up. At some point in life, you realize something funny. People will talk about you no matter what you do. If you play it safe, they will say you are boring. If you chase your dreams, they will say you are unrealistic. If you succeed, they will say you are lucky. So if people are going to talk anyway, you might as well live a life that actually belongs to you. And it's okay not being chosen. It's completely fine. Seriously, it's not a big deal. Being rejected hurts. Being overlooked hurts. There is no point pretending it doesn't. But sometimes not being chosen is actually life redirecting you somewhere better. Sometimes the people who don't see your value simply are not the people meant to walk your path. And one of the most important things you can learn in life is choosing yourself, even when others don't. And you know what? This is one of my favorite quotes by Taylor Swift. She once said, "The scary news is you are on your own now. But the cool news is you are on your own now." I hope you understand. So let go. Letting go is never easy, whether it's a person, a dream that changed, or a chapter of life that ended. Letting go always carries some sadness, but holding on to things that no longer belong in your life can slowly weigh you down. Sometimes letting go is not losing something. Sometimes it's making space for something new to enter. Count the blessing of God. It's easy to focus on what's missing in our lives. We compare ourselves to others. We see what they have and we forget what we already carry. But if you pause for a moment, there is already so much around you. You breathe, your ability to think, to grow, to change your direction. Gratitude does not remove struggles, but it reminds us that life still holds possibilities. So, my dear, come home to yourself. Maybe the most important relationship you will ever have in life is the one you have with yourself. And sometimes we spend years trying to earn love, approval, acceptance from everyone else while ignoring our own needs. So maybe today is a good day to come home to yourself, to care for yourself the way you wish others had, to become your own support system. So, if you are still trying, still hoping, still searching for a better version of yourself, that already means something inside you has not given up. And maybe that small voice is the beginning of believing in yourself again. Not perfectly, not instantly, but slowly, honestly, one step at a time. And I would really like to ask you something. What is one thing in your life that you want to start believing again? Write it in the comment. I would love to hear your story. Goodbye.